probing the whereabouts of two missing women has led to
news coming in from Kerala this morning. In fact,
of the victim in
the Kerala occult murders have sent shockwaves across the country.
Ever taken a good look at your neighbors, their faces all smiles, and thought, what are they hiding? We've got a real-life story for you today that's going to blow your mind. Just your average folks with not-so-average secrets, all tangled up in a mess of actions you wouldn't believe. We're talking about stuff as serious as ritualistic human sacrifice, and even worse. Stick with us as we try to untangle this mess and make sense of it all. So picture this. We're in the peaceful village called Ilanthur, right in the heart of Kerala, a southern state in India. Kerala is known for its stunning beaches, its rich history in traditional or Ayurvedic medicine, and the highest literacy rate in all the country, near 100%. And this is also what makes this crime so shocking, but more on that later. On September 26, 2022, Palani was frantic. Her sister Padma had not answered any of her calls or messages for an entire day. This was very unlike her. Padma's two sons and husband were eagerly waiting to speak with her, as they had done every single night for months, since she moved to Kerala for work. Padma worked as a lottery ticket vendor, selling tickets on the streets. She earned a meager 150 rupees, or less than $2 a day, on average. But sometimes she could make up to 10 times that amount on days she considered lucky. Palani and Padma's family lived in the neighborhood state of Tamil Nadu, and they depended on these phone calls as a way to stay connected. When Palani realized that Padma's phone was still switched off, she decided to pay her a visit in person. She took a bus across the state border and reached Padma's home after dark. She knocked on the door, but there was no answer. She peered through the window and saw the one-bedroom house was empty. Where was Padma? Had she gone missing? Had someone abducted her, or worse? Palani shook her head, trying to calm her nerves. She couldn't let her imagination run wild. She quickly called Padma's family to inform them that she still couldn't find her, but this only made things worse. She made them more anxious and helpless. The next day, on September 27th, Padma's husband rushed to the police station to file a missing persons report, and her family kept visiting that police station every single day for weeks, hoping for some good news. Padma's family started to wonder, had Padma gone off somewhere else looking for work, or had something more sinister happened? Had someone kidnapped her? The police launched an investigation into Padma's disappearance. They soon learned that she was not the only one. Another lottery vendor from the same area had vanished in June that year. Was there a connection? The police questioned the locals and heard a name repeated, Shafi. He was a man who often hung around the lottery vendors, buying tickets and chatting them up. The police also obtained CCTV footage of Padma walking with a man on the day she went missing. It was Shafi. They traced Padma's phone calls to a town called Pathanamthitta, 100 kilometers or 70 miles away from where she lived. What was she doing there? Who was she talking to? The police were baffled. What the heck was going on? The police followed Shafi's lead and went to Pathanamthitta, where they found the couple he was talking about. They were Bhagawal Singh and Leila Singh, also to be referred to as Singh and Leila, local medics who ran a traditional Indian medicine or Ayurvedic medicine therapy center in the village. By relative means, they were quite well known and respected. Bhagawal was referred to as Singh Babu, meaning sir. Everyone knew them in the village, as many had used their treatment services. They seemed like another normal family. Bhagawal Singh loved poetry, especially haikus. He was always posting his verses on his Facebook page. He was a very educated man. Their neighbors said they were just like any other middle-class family. But behind this normal facade, the Singhs were hiding a dark secret. They were struggling financially and were now struggling to uphold their image and reputation. The trap. In 2019, Singh received a Facebook friends request from a woman named Sri Devi. She claimed to be a fan of his poetry and they started chatting. Over the course of 3 years, they became good friends. Singh confided in her about his financial woes. Sri Devi offered him a solution. She told him that she too faced similar problems to his for a long time, but was now happy and successful. She said she could help him, but he must have an open mind. She used the help of a local mystic called Rashid, who was a guru of the ancient lost arts and black magic, and he could solve problems where modern solutions fell short. Bhagawal Singh was skeptical at first, but Sri Devi convinced him to give it a try. Soon after, she set up an introduction between the Singhs and a man called Rashid. What the Singhs didn't know was that Sri Devi and Rashid were both fake identities created by Mohammad Shafi. Shafi, posing as Rashid, met up with Bhagawal Singh and his wife Layla at their home. As soon as they opened the door, Rashid put on an act. He examined them up and down, then asked if he could see around their home. They obliged and followed him around. Rashid went room to room, examining the ceiling and seemingly noticing things in the air. He finally stopped halfway, looked them straight in the eye, and said, "You are heavily cursed. People jealous of you have put an evil curse on you, and that is the true cause of all your financial problems. The only way to lift this curse is to give something of great value to the goddess of death and revenge, goddess Kali." Shafi, posing as Rashid, said he was willing to help them by performing several rituals that would lift their curse and improve their financial situation, but they must remember to give up something of value in return. Somehow during this conversation, he brought up and convinced Singh that he should pay him to have ritualistic sexual intercourse with his wife. Then Shafi told Singh that for this to work, he must also be present and watch the entire act go down. This, he claimed, will lift their curse and resolve all their financial problems. Shocked by this proposition, but desperate to try anything, the Singhs discussed amongst themselves for a moment and agreed. But hold on, listeners, this isn't even the weirdest part of the story. In June 2022, Shafi, posing as a movie producer, spoke to a door-to-door health supplement saleswoman, 48-year-old Roslyn. He offered her a job that would pay her 100 times what she could afford to make in a day. In return, she had to participate in a porn movie. Having never done anything of this sort, but unable to turn down such a lucrative opportunity, Roslyn agreed. The movie was to be shot at the Singh's residence, 100 kilometers away. And yes, Roslyn worked in the same area as Padma, who would be reported missing months later. Roslyn arrived at the scene and noticed the set was decorated with offerings and strange symbols. She assumed this was part of the movie and continued. The Singhs greeted her and told her about the adult movie and that she would need to be tied up. Roslyn hesitated, but they assured her this was all part of the script and that she could use a safe word if things got out of hand. Feeling better, she agreed. However, as soon as she was tied up and gagged, she notices Shafi from the corner of her eye. He was now dressed in ritualistic garb, reciting incantations. This completely freaked her out, and she lost her composure and started to scream through her gag. This is when Layla rushes the bed with a large knife and slashes her throat. The couple then proceed to stab her and chop her into pieces. The body parts were cooked and eaten by the couple. They also sprayed the victim's blood all over the walls to appease the goddess. The entire ritual was conducted under the guidance and presence of Mohammad Shafi. Having now completed a horrendous act to remove their curse, they believed all their problems would be resolved. However, a few months later, the couple's finances were still not getting any better. They asked Shafi why they haven't gained any wealth despite the rituals and sacrifices. Mohammad Shafi then told them there were still some curses on their family. Roslyn's sacrifice had removed some, but this was not enough. Shafi mentioned the curse on them was so great they would need to perform a second sacrifice. Fast forward to September 26, 2022. Similar to Roslyn, Padma was approached and lured to the Singh's residence under the false pretense of shooting a porn movie for a large sum of cash. Padma needed the money as her husband was ill and her eldest son had lost his job during the COVID pandemic. However, this time at the Singh's residence, Padma demanded to see the money up front The Singhs and Shafi pinned her down, and the three of them garroted her to death, each pulling on the rope around her neck. After a similar blood ritual, they disposed of her the same way as Roslyn. Unknown to them, though, the police would soon trace Padma's cell phone signal to this location and would later apprehend Shafi, who pointed their fingers solely at the Singhs. A few weeks later, the police showed up at their doorstep. Pagwal and Leila Singh immediately confessed to everything and recounted the entire chain of events in explicit detail. The Kerala police were stunned when they heard the gruesome details of the case. They could not fathom how human beings could do such horrific acts to each other. They cordoned off the area and began their investigation. They dug up the ground and made a horrifying discovery. There were 2 pits filled with human remains, wrapped in plastic bags. They counted 61 packets of body parts, 56 in one pit and 5 in the other. They later identified these as the victims Padma and Roslyn. At the center of it all is one man, Mohammad Shafi, a monster, a sexual predator, a master manipulator, and a psychopath. He had no remorse or empathy for his victims. He had fooled everyone, even his own wife, who had been married to him for over 20 years. She refused to believe that her husband was capable of such evil deeds, but the evidence was clear. Shafi was involved in 10 cases of various crimes, ranging from rape and theft to attempted murder, and it's unclear how he managed to escape with such leniency every time. One wouldn't be wrong to draw parallels between him and the notorious cult leader Charles Manson. This case has sparked a debate on the prevalence and impact of superstition and black magic in India. Despite being one of the most literate states in the country, Kerala has witnessed several cases of human sacrifices and ritual killings in the name of black magic. According to official data, there were more than 100 reported cases of human sacrifices in India between 2014 and 2021, but the actual number could be much higher, as many cases go unreported or are dismissed as suicides or accidents. There is no uniform law in India that directly addresses superstition and ritualistic human sacrifices. Superstition is not limited to the rural or uneducated sections of society, but also affects the urban and educated classes. In 2015, news outlets reported an allegation that one political party members performed black magic at the head office before it was to be occupied by members of an opposing party. The case of Mohammad Shafi and his accomplices is currently going through the Indian court system and faces many challenges and hurdles. Leila recently applied for and was denied bail by the courts. The trial is still pending, and the victims and families are still awaiting justice. If you liked this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon to get notified of our new content. I appreciate your feedback and support. Until next time, this is V, signing off.